We are on the final 10 miles of our third 350-mile travel day. So we're actually coming up to one of our favorite spots right outside Zion National Park.
It is our favorite. In fact, it's one of the few spots that we've made an effort to swing through on all of our RVs that we've owned. The van, the ORV, and now this fifth wheel. I don't think we took the tent up here though, did we?
No, we didn't.
So 3 or 4, not bad.
So this is the Hurricane Cliff BLM sites. There's about 50 of them. The unique thing out here is that they're all numbered, so that's also the negative thing, because when you get out there, there may or may not be a site open. We've got a couple good things on our side here. It's Monday, it's 3:30 in the afternoon, so it's not Friday at 5. So we're doing all right. I think we're gonna get lucky with something.
And this is a beautiful spot to get some good trail hiking in. There's tons of active people up here recreating. It's very close to the park.
Big mountain bike area.
Yeah, big mountain bike area. But we just use the mountain bike trails for our feet.
I think the mountain bikers don't like us because we walk so many miles on their trails.
Yeah.
So our boondocking journey is kind of taking us from 2 weeks at the Badlands, which was phenomenal. That's also the Wall, one of our favorite spots out there. You just can't beat the views and sitting out there enjoying those beautiful sunrises and sunsets. And this spot here is, I mean, it's Utah, and you're literally looking at the Zion mountain in the back, and it's an amazing area.
People ask us all the time where our favorite spot is that we've ever gone. And that's such a big and challenging question to answer, but we usually always answer with Utah. Like just a blanket statement, Utah is probably our favorite state to go take the RV around. And we really haven't actually camped too much in northern Utah just because the elevation is always a little bit colder there at the time that we go through Utah. But man, talk about just epic places to go. Utah is top of the list for us.
A lot changes in 2 years. Brand new RV resort right at the bottom of the hill.
It looks nice too, doesn't it?
Yeah. So there's quite a few free dispersed camping sites kind of all around this area. But as you can imagine, being 30 minutes from one of the biggest national parks, it gets pretty busy out here, especially in the summertime. Road closed. Why didn't they tell us about that? So the spot we were gonna go to is off of Sheep Bridge Road, and for some reason the one entrance is closed. We're hoping the other entrance isn't. It's 15 minutes to drive all the way around. Again, that's the thing with trying to scout out these spots. Like it's never a perfect, easy situation. Sometimes it is, but most of the time, you gotta fight for it a little bit. This is the back entrance up to Sheep Bridge. It's like the old highway. Well, it looks open, but is it? All right, I partially feel like this is gonna be really busy because the weather was so nice here and cold there. That's partly why I was thinking Bryce would be a good, easy option to go to, because like it would be super dead there. I don't know. All we can do is go and find a spot, right? Driving about 10 miles per hour. I see a camper van flying down the road. That's probably bad news. Or they're leaving for the night, one of the two. So as you drive past, there's a sign that says sites 1 through 12, and it's really hard to know if there's an open site. So you kind of got to count the RVs off in the distance. But the thing with us is, we can't drag our fifth wheel all the way to the back. You just can't pass some of these roads and ruts, so. We made it. It is always a tough time getting a spot here at Hurricane Cliffs, and you can obviously see it's well worth it. But man, I tell you, every time it's a battle coming in here. But good spot. Super level. Our site's pretty rocky, but we didn't have to drive down a really crazy deep road. We're not too far off the main road, obviously, but this is what gets magical at sunset.
Holy moly! Does it feel good to be here?
So Chris and I were just talking about how big this site is. This is supposed to be a single site, and that bush right there is right where we parked the van, right there. And that's all it was this little turnabout by the road. And all this over here was not there at all. And you can see all these places that we're going to, like the Badlands and all these places we haven't been to for years. The boondocking stuff is getting, I don't want to say it's out of hand, but it's like, you can see the imprint that people are putting on it.
So you don't think that the federal government expanded this space out?
No, this is just people.
Oh, that's too bad.
Just people coming in, being busy.
Because it looks like it was like officially bulldozed over.
Yeah, we don't have the most private spot, but I bet once we get in there and we're looking, this is our view. This is what I remember in the van.
This is what we fell in love with.
So the van, like, we opened our slider door and we looked like at this. It's amazing.
What I like about this site is that it is nice and level and it's nice and wide open, and it was easy to get into.
Yes.
If it rains or anything, it's going to be easy to get out of. I always think about getting rained on and
getting out of here.
Getting out of here.
The spots that I went down,
looked rough.
Very rough.
And this looks really like.
That's why I even turned around at some. I'm like, I don't even care if there's an open site down there. We can't get to it with our fifth wheel.
Like, this is a very big rig friendly site.
There's no disguising how I feel whenever I'm with you. I've waited till the moment's right to look into those starry eyes and say the words that I'm thinking all the time.
So this is the Hurricane Cliffs BLM land, one of our favorite spots.
It is so incredible. We've talked about before how we love to boondock at nearby national park areas. So this is right outside of Zion National Park. And our favorite thing is that we just step outside of our RV and we're on beautiful trails where we can walk the dogs. So the first thing we do every morning is get the dogs out on a walk. Usually it's about 60 minutes, but when it's in amazing places like this, sometimes it stretches out to 90 minutes. And that allows the dogs to rest the rest of the day. They'll nap while we can work.
So believe it or not, it's actually just after 8 o'clock in the morning. You can see a bunch of clouds up in the sky today, and we've been up for a few hours. We always start our day with the morning coffee, and now that it's kind of turning towards winter time, the sun doesn't come up till about 7:30, and now that there's a little bit of a storm system in the area, it's even cloudier than normal.
Yeah, so that gave us a late start today, the rain plus the darkness. We're out a little bit later than usual, but it's still beautiful, it's clearing up, and it looks like we might get some good weather today.
So we are gonna finish up walking the dogs, and then we're gonna bring you back to the RV and show you what's for breakfast.
Let's go, let's go.
I know. It's cold. You got red sand all over you. So yesterday was actually just as cloudy as it is this morning, and that's why we're at about 57% of our batteries. We've been out here just about a week now, and because it is late fall, that sun, when it is shining, is at a very low angle. So we're not getting that high solar output. So up on the roof, we have 2,750 watts of rich solar panels. These are the new 250 watt panels, and you can see how perfectly they fit between the air conditioner and the edge of the RV here. And because of that size, I'm able to fit 11 of those panels on this 33-foot fifth wheel. So instead of these being 170 watt panels or 190 or even 200, they are much bigger individually, easily an extra 500 watts of solar, which comes into play when you're out in the desert with the low sun angle and you have all these roof obstacles like we do. 3 air conditioners, 2 roof vents. It's a lot. In fact, this is so much power that we don't carry a generator and we don't even have a DC to DC charger. Now, most of the time, this amount of solar will keep the batteries almost at 100%. But there have been some times, especially in the off summer season, where that sun angle is lower, or obviously if it's extremely cloudy or rainy, you're gonna run into situations where a DC to DC charger would be really nice to have. Inside this bay is where everything else sits. And right off the bat, you can see we have 2 Victron Multiplus 3000s, and they are the 24 volt version. Now these are hooked up in parallel, and because these are 2400 watt continuous inverters, together we have 4800 watts. If you only had a single inverter, you can imagine running 2 1500 watt appliances at 3000 watts is going to overload your inverter. Now, depending on the size of your system, it's probably going to make more sense to go with just a single inverter. When you're out here preserving energy while you're boondocking, most likely you're going to keep it to 1 large appliance. But because we have such a large system, I wanted to be able to design this thing to run 1 air conditioner all day when the sun is shining and not feel overwhelmed if I'm going to pop on the microwave or the induction or the air fryer or run any other large appliance for short amounts of time. You can see the pass-through in this 33-foot fifth wheel is a little bit smaller than some of the bigger fifth wheels out there, which was why it was quite the challenge to cram 4 of the Battleborn battery game changers inside the back area of this compartment. So each one of those is 270 amp hours. We do have them hooked up in the 24-volt configuration. So our complete system is 540 amps at 24 volt. But if you're talking 12 volt equivalent, it'd be 1080 amps, which is quite a big system. I know this feels like a pretty big system, and truthfully it is, but nowadays a lot of systems are getting bigger and bigger. Now, we've been partners with Battleborn batteries since early 2020, so we've had a lot of different sized rigs, all the way down to our rooftop tent and truck, which had a single 100 amp hour battery and a single 90 watt solar panel. So the purpose of this large system we did on the fifth wheel was, again, to max out the solar on that 33-foot roof, as well as get an extremely large battery bank, double the inverters, and basically give us power to live off-grid for as long as the sun is shining and as long as they'll let us stay. Oh, hello, Louis.
I do our eggs in 2 different loads, 2 different batches, because Aaron and I prefer different sausage to egg ratios. I like a little more sausage with a little less egg, and he likes a little less sausage with a little more egg. So yep, we're high maintenance. Smells nice and toasty, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's been roughly 10 minutes of using the induction. You can see that that's only 1% of our battery, roughly, again. And if you were just cooking eggs, that you could do in a few seconds.
Oh yeah, it's the sausage that added the most cook time to this. But since I cooked up a pound of sausage today, I have some leftovers for tomorrow that will make tomorrow's meal much quicker.
So my thought is, for quick math, to kind of maybe relate to more people. So we have an extremely large system. It's, you know, roughly around 1,000 amp hours at that 12 volt. And if we're using 1%, you could then equate that to a 100 amp hour system at 10% of the battery capacity. So now you could imagine trying to cook breakfast and using 10% of your only 100 amp hour battery. That gets kind of big, and that's why when we were tent camping and we only had 100 amp hours of lithium battery, we did a lot of our cooking on the propane Blackstone.
We still use the propane for grilling meat and stuff, which you'll see later for lunch and dinner. But breakfast, it's primarily inside, and it's really important that you find which equipment and kitchen appliances work best for your setup.
So some people like to have breakfast sitting outside to enjoy the view, but that is again why we chose this fifth wheel with all of these windows and our office here in the back. We can sit, eat, and still have a view from the inside.
Yes, and this is the part of the day where breakfast is here. We're either going to get into a workout or straight to computer work. And we take that big time on our walk in the morning, and so since that takes a big chunk of our morning, we like to get right into working or moving on with our day, since we try to pack a lot in. Yeah, you just use the beaner. I think I kicked a rock at the truck. Well, the sun came out and it was beautiful outside for a little outdoor workout. Worked up an appetite, and for lunch we're gonna do what we typically do on any given day, which is grill some meat and put some veggies in the air fryer. So I have a skirt steak that's been sitting out coming to room temp for Aaron to grill. He's always the grill master. The grill is preheating. And then in the air fryer, I'm gonna do Brussels sprouts. The Brussels sprouts, they take about 15 minutes. So that's a middle of the road vegetable. A lot of the vegetables I do just take 7 minutes. So my 7-minute vegetables are broccoli, green beans, pea pods, and then 15 minutes on Brussels sprouts. Other vegetables take a little bit longer, like roasted carrots, butternut squash, spaghetti squash, and potatoes and french fries. But the nice thing about the air fryer is that it cycles on and off. So it goes through waves of high power use to low power use. Right, Aaron? You've definitely seen that?
To no power use.
To no power use. So don't let that 30-minute time scare you, because it's not cranking on full throttle for the full 30 minutes. Additionally, I have a bunch of peppers and onions, so I'm gonna be sauteing some peppers and onions for me to eat. Aaron likes the Brussels sprouts a little bit more, so we're gonna run 2 appliances for lunch, plus the grill, and it's gonna be delicious.
It's just about 1 o'clock, so we are looking at about 3 hours from last time we were filming, and you can see we've went up about 10% in battery power. It's done a good job of charging back up, but it's not phenomenal. In the dead of summertime, that's going to be showing well over 2,000 watts, and we'd probably be almost all charged back up by noon. So our goal isn't always to charge back up to 100%. It sure does feel nice when we get there.
Yeah.
But as long as we're ending the day, 70, 80, 90 to 100%, I'm pretty happy.
So you're shooting for a C. You're a C kind of a student.
That's right. C's good enough.
That's right.
Puppies are sleeping away the afternoon.
Because of that big walk we gave them.
They had a big old walk. Power-wise, that took about 2% on our battery bank. You can see, that 1,000 watts, 1,100 watts still coming in. Charging the battery strong.
2%, that's pretty good for...
Not bad.
What do you think?
Looks good.
Okay, here we go.
These are the best.
You know what I really like those on is on top of salads, like as a little crouton, a salty little
That's so good.
hot, crispy.
So good.
Which steak do you want?
I'll take the longer, thinner one. Hopefully they cooked out well. It is so windy outside that, I cooked them like a minute and a half longer than I normally do, just because you don't know how that temp's going to work with the wind.
Yeah, you have to adjust for a high wind.
Mm-hmm.
These skirt steaks are my favorite. I could literally eat them every single day and not get sick of them. Peppers and onions. Made up plenty of these for leftovers. That's always my motto. Cook once, eat twice.
Now, if I was doing the onions, I would have seared them to little crispy, crunchy little onions.
Yeah, I know. I know.
But
I did the fast version.
Yep, that's how Chris likes them, lightly done. I'm gonna stick to the Brussels sprouts today. And that's gonna be lunch, something we pretty much typically do every day, like Chris said, or we'll have salads or some type of protein grilled.
It's always a grilled protein with some sort of veggie. The determining factor is what day of the week since grocery shopping, because we went grocery shopping almost a week ago. So salad and lettuce greens only last a few days in the fridge for us. These are the more hearty vegetables, you might notice. So we're on the hearty vegetables at the end of the week.
It makes sense. That's why we have 4 days of salads in a row and then switch it up.
Exactly. Yeah, you need to eat the lettuce before it gets all condensation in the fridge. And then you keep things like Brussels sprouts, carrots keep really well. We always have onions and potatoes at the end of the week, cabbage. Those are your heartier things that you can stretch out for like when you need to go grocery shopping again.
We're gonna eat lunch while it's warm and then probably back to work for a little bit.
That's how it is.
Yeah, the days go by quick when you're sitting out here. So we're not always just out, visiting the national park and doing things. We're literally just kind of living day to day. And that's why we like to stay in places like this for a week, 10 days, even 2 weeks we did at the Badlands spot last month, just because it was so comfortable and beautiful of a spot. Mm-hmm. Okay, cut into your steak and tell me how I did.
Are you nervous?
Everybody wants to know.
Okay, for the record, Aaron is the grill master. Oh, it's good.
Not bad. I think I could have even cooked it for 30 seconds less, maybe a minute. The grill stayed pretty hot. I turned it in the wind.
Yeah?
Which, a little trick to turn it, because wind will come in the sides, but it doesn't come in the back or the front. So I flipped it, how we normally have it, and that helps keep the heat.
I'm just over here chowing.
How was that bite?
Really good. Thank you.
Thank you. Today is actually our last day out here at this wonderful Hurricane Cliffs boondocking spot.
Yes.
And we're excited to go, but also sad to leave.
You know what? Living a life as a full-time RVer with full-time jobs, it's very exciting on a work day. You work, eat, work, eat, work, eat, walk, a couple of walks in there. That's about it.
Was that too many works in that one?
Yeah. Ever wonder where the name Irene Iron Travels comes from? It's actually named after my online fitness and nutrition coaching business, Irene Iron Fitness. I help people move better, feel better, and eat better with strength training and real food. No fad diets, no harsh restrictions, no counting calories, and absolutely no processed food in a package. If you want to get stronger and feel better at any age, check the description below for the links with my new client special, or join in on our next and upcoming group challenge.